Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very interesting episode for you guys. You definitely want to stick around for this one, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, excuse me, let me get into this topic. I'm sure most of you are aware that there's an ongoing beef taking place right now in the media world. And that beef, or that quarrel, whatever you want to call it, is between the old media versus the new media. That's the current state of affairs of things. And by the new media, I think we're just referring to Draymond Green versus everyone else. Draymond Green, excuse me, describes the new media as media that involves players who have done it before, and these players are basically breaking down basketball in a way that audiences can consume it, and there's no fluff, there's no sensationalism, there's no hype, there's no real storylines, right? There's no drama, whatever you want to call it. It's just flat out basketball analysis. And Draymond has been on a mission ever since JJ Redick had this spat with Chris Mad Dog Russo on ESPN First Take when he made the comments about Draymond Green, because you know Draymond Green is an animated player, and he was basically saying just play basketball, like just shut up and play basketball. That's what he said. And JJ Redick said, listen, the only type of place we hear these type of things being said is on Fox News. And then Draymond Green basically called McCline, and he said, you know, that's really when it started. And you know, he started saying that, you know, JJ Redick is up there basically checking people and all of that stuff. So really, that's where that was the genesis of all of this. And since then, it became players versus traditional journalists or traditional media. And over the weekend, Draymond Green made some comments on his podcast on the Volume Network about Skip Bayless, who is one of the biggest faces in corporate sports media. So for those of you who missed what Draymond Green had to say about Skip Bayless, we're going to quickly play his comments, and we're going to come back and continue on. So take a listen to what he had to say about Skip Bayless there.
You know, you saw Russ the other day check Skip Bayless, like Russell Westbrook. That man's name is Westbrook. Like, that man has children. That man has a family. That's a family name. You're talking about Russell Westbrook. Again, people just run off talking and think they don't have to stand on that. You got to stand on them words, man. Your words mean something. You got to be willing to stand on that. And so that's like my whole thing with the new media. Stand on that. Real media. But calling this man Westbrook, like, what? Who are you? So hopefully these guys will see this. Of course, they'll look at it, they'll go respond and say, I'm not doing that, Bob. But if you know what's good for you, you got to make the adjustment, man, because people tired of that old-ass tire stuff y'all giving. They sick of it. Yours truly, the new media.
So as you heard, those were the comments that Draymond Green had to make about Skip Bayless. Subsequently, Draymond Green said, "No, I don't want to come on your show. I'm also not sure that I would even want you as a guest on the show, on the Draymond Green show. You don't quality for the show. Your resume is not there." I'm assuming he's saying you don't qualify. Then Skip Bayless responded with this: "No, Draymond. The real reason you wouldn't want me on your show, quote unquote, new media podcast, is you fear I'd make you look foolish. You could edit, but you know I'd be taping on my end. Of course, I'd love to have you on my podcast, but there's no way you would risk that. So keep making excuses." So that was the exchange between Skip Bayless and Draymond Green. And I got to say, man, Skip Bayless ain't ducking no smoke. For as much as people talk, and for as much as people say about Skip Bayless, Skip ain't ducking no smoke. Okay, he's going at cats. He's letting his thoughts be known. If you come at him, he'll like, listen, if you have X, Y, and Z to say about me, come on my show. I'll go on your show. Let's discuss these things face to face, right? You know, he even extended an invitation out to Russell Westbrook, who said, say that to my. So Skip Bayless ain't ducking nobody, right? And he has a history of going up against, athletes who, disagree with what things that he had to say, like Chris Bosh, Richard Sherman, Jalen Rose, and others, right? So Skip Bayless seems to be, as Draymond Green says, stand on it. He's standing on it fully, right? So you got to give Skip Bayless, some credit, for that. Now, here are my thoughts on this entire exchange. And I want you guys to bear with me, please, because I got a lot that I want to say. And I think what I'm about to say is very important, especially for people looking to come into this industry. When we got into sports media about, let me say 3 years ago, we wanted to make sure, especially me, and I'm talking my end, content, I wanted to make sure that I was as informed as possible. If you go look back at our earlier videos, I wasn't polished. I was stumbling and bumbling. I didn't really have a style of presentation. None of that was there, right? But if you look at the progression over time, you'll see an improvement. And I'm not tapping myself on the back. I'm acknowledging the hard work that I put in. If you put in the hard work, you have a right to acknowledge it. It becomes ludicrous when people are giving themselves pats on the back and they haven't put in the work. You can go back and look at our older content, the presentation, the thumbnails, etc. The background, all of these things, and you can see a clear progression. I also literally watch sports all day long. And the reason I do that is to make sure, number one, I'm in vogue, I'm in the know. And number two, I want to make sure, and I'm trying to enhance my knowledge on a daily basis, right? And the only way you could learn something, especially a new craft, a new field, a new discipline, you have to immerse yourself. It's a full immersion, right? And that's the reason why we're able to produce content 2-3 videos a day, 6 days a week. There's no way you'll be able to do that if you're not constantly plugged in, right? So that's the second thing. I read articles, or I read articles every single day to make sure my reading skills are sharp, on par. I try to read other things to add new words to my vocabulary, because I understand I'm coming up in front of an audience to speak, and I don't want to be struggling to get my ideas across. I want to be concise, clear, and I want everyone to understand what I'm saying, right? I want to ensure that every time I open my mouth, I'm doing a few things. Number one, I'm representing our Dreamerspro brand the right way, right? The way you brand yourself, the way you present yourself, your positioning in the market matters, because the way you present yourself is how people are going to view you. Number one, that's the first thing I try to ensure. Number two, and it's very important, and this is the larger point I want to get to. I understand I'm up here not only representing myself and the company I work for, but I'm also representing black men. And I want to make sure that I'm representing black men in the right way. I want to show that they're smart, articulate, respectful, hardworking black men that take their job very, very seriously. I'm not just up here talking for myself. I'm also representing these guys out there, at least the black guys that give a damn about that, right? I want people to understand that there are brothers out there that take their craft very seriously, and understand that when they're up there in public, they're not just representing themselves, they're representing others. The next thing I also want to do, or I'm also aware of, cognizant of, is I try to make sure that I'm as humble as possible. And if I make mistakes, I own up to them quickly. You guys can go through the comments. People have said, hey, you got this wrong, you got that wrong. I'll always say, you're right about this, you're right about that. If I'm wrong, I'm going to say it. I have no issue with doing that, right? There's no ego about this thing, right? Because you don't have all the answers. Contrary to what some people who do this for a living may believe, right? That's the other thing I'm trying to do. And most importantly, I try to respect the medium and understand that our viewers are not stupid, right? We try to come up with engaging content, engaging things to do, like put up polls, interacting with our audience, constantly people engage, and putting up things that people can actually think and discuss about, right? We're very, very systematic and deliberate about all of these things. In other words, what I'm saying is we take our craft extremely, extremely seriously. I get absolutely none of that when I listen to Draymond Green. I'm being 100% honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat my thoughts. It is exactly what I think. I'm not going to sit up here and twerk it up for nobody. I don't get that sense from Draymond. Draymond Green comes up there and talks. That is it. Draymond Green, as he said, he's a multimillionaire that earns $25 million per annum, as he said. And yet he hasn't even invested in his presentation, like cameras, good mics. If you look at his videos, they're pixelated, 720, 180p at best on some days. Look at the backgrounds. You are a multi-millionaire. Forget about the fact that you're just getting into it. You have the resources to make sure your presentation is on par. Literally. Look at other YouTube networks out there. Look at Valuetainment, for example, with Patrick Bet-David. Patrick Bet-David invested $1 million of his own money into his last studio. Go look at the new building that they built. That's his own money. You think that's Valuetainment money? Valuetainment is not generating that type of money. But the guy understands the importance of presentation. And he has the resources to do so. Look at our studio. Again, look at the progression. When we started off, we were doing videos in offices, random places, doing videos in rooms. But as we started to make a little bit of money, we reinvested it back into because we take it seriously. We take it dead serious. And that's the reason why certain brands that are reaching out to us take us seriously. You don't take yourself seriously, no one will take you seriously. This is beyond sports. This is a message for life that we're trying to share with you guys here. And I think when you look at people like Draymond Green, you see the presentation. It bothers me. And it's one of the reasons why I believe so many people think that so many guys think they can come in, start talking about basketball, put in zero effort in their presentation, and all of a sudden expect wonderful things to happen. Most of these people that talk about the sport don't even have notes. They don't even prep. Y'all think that I don't prep before these topics? You think when I go live, I don't prep? I prep. Ask Marco. If I'm doing a live, I will prep for at least 35 to 45 minutes before I go on live. Why? Because I want to make sure that I'm coherent. Number two, I want to make sure I'm respecting my audience's time. I'm not just going up there and talking. I'm not going up there and just trying to say whatever I think because I want to talk. And that's the sense I'm getting from a lot of people. It seems as if a lot of people want to talk and be heard, but they don't want to do all the little things that goes into the work that makes it presentable and top notch. What's the brand? What's the standard? What's the standard? And these things bother me. Secondly, a lot of the points that Draymond was making were incoherent at best, at very best. He calls out Skip Bayless, who made fun of Russell Westbrook's last name. And let me say this for the people that have been on this channel. Y'all know that when Skip Bayless was doing that, I was the one defending Russell Westbrook. Y'all know this. Liars have no proof. The videos are there. Shannon Sharp was like, no, you got to take that on the chin when you play like garbage. People call you out. Skip Bayless said it. I was one of the people that defended Russell Westbrook. Draymond Green is calling out Skip Bayless for making fun of Russell Westbrook's last name, then turns around and calls Skip Bayless Skip Bayless. And does the exact same thing. The exact same thing. How is that coherent? How? That's the one thing. The other thing I want to touch is this. I got a lot that I want to say, so bear with me. I got a lot. When he spoke about the fact that Skip Bayless doesn't have the resume to sit up there and talk to him, that was just flat out silly. That was silly. The truth is this. Draymond Green doesn't qualify to sit down and talk to Skip Bayless. You see, because now we're talking about media. We're not talking about basketball. If we're stepping on the basketball court, almost none of us qualify to discuss basketball at that level because that's your profession, my man. The same way you wouldn't qualify to run a hedge fund. If you're not a hedge fund manager and you don't have the expertise to do it. Don't believe you're somehow better than people or you're greater than people because you do a particular thing and you have that first-hand knowledge and you think that all of a sudden you're better than people. A guy working on Wall Street running a hedge fund could tell you the exact same thing. So cut it out. It's very condescending. Very, very condescending. The fact of the matter is this: Draymond Green is not qualified to sit down and will skip, because now you're talking about media. And if we're discussing media, you don't qualify to sit down with him. What those guys do is not easy. Stop sending that message to people that it is. Because what you're telling people is that you don't have to put in the work. And it breeds laziness. Lazy men that don't want to put in the work, but want all the rewards. That's the problem. You see somebody driving down the road, driving down the street in a Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever the hell it is, and you don't realize all the work that went into it. You just want the car. You don't realize all of the hell that guy, all of the hell that guy went through. You just want the finished product. No, you got to put in the work. And if we're talking about media, he doesn't even qualify. He wouldn't last 10 minutes. Not even 10. He wouldn't last 5 minutes, if I'm being honest with you. And Skip Bayless knows that. And that's why he said it. Here's another thing I want to say. People that believe this creating sports content is easy. People like Draymond Green that believe it's easy are sadly mistaken. Just because the algorithm prioritizes your content and views it as authority content doesn't mean it's the best content out there. And the people that understand the business will understand it, and I'll leave it at that. If you understand what I just said, for the people that actually do YouTube, and you understand what I just said, I'll leave it at that. I wanted to say that because it's very important. Just because you're getting views doesn't mean your content is fantastic. Certain content is prioritized. Doesn't mean it's the best. I think it's important that I say this. And finally, let me close with this. I'm not in a hurry today. If the video's too long, you don't have to watch, but I'm not in a hurry. I want to get this all off my chest because I've been thinking about it. This thing that people like Draymond Green do, which is, you didn't play the game, you didn't play the sport, so you won't be able to understand it or talk about it the way we do. Let me tell you something. If you go out there and you look at a lot of successful people, most of these guys are self-taught. Most of them. Some of them take a traditional route. Like maybe if you want to go into finance, or if you want to be a doctor, or if you want to be a lawyer. Yeah, there's certain qualifications. If you want to be a pilot, absolutely. You got to go to school for that. You got to train for that. 100%. An accountant, all of these, 100%. But just because you didn't become a certified accountant doesn't mean you can't understand accounting. Most of the people that you look at out there that are successful, they didn't go to school for the thing that they're doing. Give you some examples. Number one, Kanye West. First of all, what school did Kanye West go to learn music? I thought so. Number two, what school did Kanye West go to? Although he was he was into design. What school did he go to learn how to make and design shoes? Thank you. That's one example. Let's pull up some other examples. Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy's a musician. What school did he go to for music? How did he learn how to produce music? Number one. Number two, how did he learn about the fashion industry and manufacturing? What school did he go to for manufacturing? Help me. Pharrell Williams just built a hotel in partnership. What civil engineering degree does Pharrell have to be able to build a hotel? Nevertheless, he has a hotel. He's a partner in a hotel. Jay-Z is a rapper. What school do you go to become a rapper? Nas Nostradamus. What is it? One of the Jenners that's into cosmetics. What? I mean, when you say that, you sound stupid. Sorry to say it. You sound very, very stupid. You're assuming that just because you're doing something as a profession, somebody else can understand it at a deep level. It is a stupid thing to say. Very, very stupid. Very. And all you sound like is a gatekeeper. That's all. And it seems as if that's the only thing that you're good at, and you want to hold on to it and say, this is what I'm an expert at, and therefore nobody else can do it, because if you couldn't do that thing, what else would you be good at? I'm going to leave it at that with that particular point. Finally, in all of this new media talk that I've been hearing, this new media, this new way of understanding basketball, I've listened to a number of episodes from the Draymond Green podcast. He ain't really saying nothing. If you want to learn basketball, I spent all of 2021 listening to Tyronn Lue. If you want to learn basketball, real basketball, every day the Clippers play a basketball game, the post-game, go watch a Tyronn Lue post-game interview. You will learn more in those post-game interviews than than most of what's being said out there. Ty Lue actually knows basketball. If you want to learn about basketball, listen to Tyronn Lue post-game interviews. That's what I do. I've yet to hear the deep analysis where he's saying things that are so profound that most of the things that Draymond Green is saying, we all understand that. Now, about making predictions, everyone has been wrong. Everyone. Show me who's batting 1,000 when it comes to prediction. Last time I checked, no one said that we were out here trying to be Nostradamus or fortune tellers. People are giving a prediction based on what they believe and the information that they have. If they're wrong, so what? You've been wrong too. Or maybe you haven't. And finally, this thing about the new media, let me tell you this. After listening and giving it a critical ear, I would rather listen to Shaq, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, Jalen Rose talk about basketball than you. Because all I've been hearing about is just a bunch of beefs. Going to Mad Dog Russo, going to this guy, Stephen A. Smith, going to Kendrick Perkins. Where's the analysis, man? Where is the knowledge? Where are we learning? When are we going to get to the learning? Or is this what the new media is all about? A bunch of WWE sports content. Who's beefing with who? Who's cussing out who? How about we get to the real content? Your audience is listening. We want to learn something. These are my thoughts on it. A lot of people will disagree. Y'all know this about me. I'm going to give you guys 100% my opinion. It's up for people to agree or disagree. And listen, everyone has a right to agree or not agree. It's everyone's right. It's a free world. Draymond Green, it's a free world. If people want to talk about basketball, they have a right to do it. It's your right to either agree or disagree. Stop acting like a gatekeeper, especially when the guy's out there doing a hell of a job. Way better. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for this profound basketball information. These are my thoughts. Whoever agrees with it, fantastic. If you don't, whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comment section. And you go meet Skip Bayless because he's waiting for you. Go represent us. Let's see what you'll do. Catch y'all later. Peace.